The debate for what's been considered a hotly contested race between Representatives Gordon Denlinger and Ryan Ahmet was actually quite amicable until the tone of the campaign was questioned. Federal authorities searched for more than a decade for Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and finally captured him in Mexico last month. Guzman spearheaded the Sinaloa drug cartel, which had a distribution hub in Lancaster until 2007. Those drugs came here to the uncontrolled Smoketown airport via a private plane. But that wasn't the case for Lauren Halter. Her symptoms came on fast and strong, and she was diagnosed with a medulloblastoma on her cerebellum when she was 18. Pending restrictions on bridges like this one, where you can see the crumbling cement and exposed metal rods, has officials hoping they don't go through and that roads can remain open. On March 28, 1979, one of the worst accidents in history occurred at this nuclear power plant in Middletown, Pennsylvania. It started at 4 a.m. after several water pumps stopped working in one of the power units. The governor at the time, Dick Thornburg, was at Penn State Harrisburg to commemorate the 35th anniversary and recount the events, including the phone call he got at 7:50 a.m. that morning. Now, this is really easy to prepare. All you need is your packet of meat, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of water. You want to mix it up in a bowl and then pour it in a pan and cook it like you would ground beef. Okay, so during the summertime, something like this maxi dress would be ideal to wear because it is cool and comfortable, and I could wear it day and night. Exactly. Children can come here during the day. It's good for them, it's nurturing, it's an educational environment, and parents can feel good about dropping them off because they know that they'll be in good care. This is called an empanada. It's a Colombian dish, and it's fried potato with beef inside. I'm gonna take a bite. It's really hot, but it's really good. But Thumper's life wasn't always so glamorous. Thumper's actually a rescue dog who was found roaming the streets of York. Her life didn't turn around until she was taken in by a tell-to-tell puppy mill rescue. ADHD is a common condition of the brain that makes it difficult to control behavior. It affects 8% of adults and 10 to 12% of children. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends a full evaluation be done on a child before they're diagnosed with ADHD. Child predators can be anyone, old or young, rich or poor, educated or uneducated. However, they often demonstrate similar characteristics. Hey Catherine, so up until this point it was actually pretty clear, but as soon as I come outside it starts sleeting pretty hard. But if you can see the pavement right here, it's actually okay. It's just wet, it's not slushy or icy, which is a good thing, but regardless, PennDOT has imposed 45-mile-per-hour speed limit restrictions on routes 222, 322, 30, and 283. So if you have to drive anywhere, give yourself some extra time. But hopefully, everyone's at home for the night and the rest of us can make it home safely this evening. The United Way should know tonight if they've broke their world record, and I'll have that full story coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. Reporting live in Lancaster for News 11, I'm Erica Blatt. The loss is roughly estimated at $1 million. There was a state police fire marshal called to investigate the cause, which has yet to be determined. Reporting in East Cocalico Township for News 11, I'm Erica Blatt. Around 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, April 10th, 3 suspects cleared a lot of merchandise and cash from the A+ Sunoco on West Main Street in Ephrata, and one of those suspects was an on-duty clerk. And we're actually here with a very special guest. This is Allison Stoltzfus, and she is the 2013 Mannheim Farm Show Queen. She was crowned on Monday night, and you go to Mannheim Central. You're a senior, right? Okay. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And can you tell us about the competition? Well, it's so inspiring that you're still out here doing your thing and walking. I hope that you can make it through, the next 18 hours, and thank you. Have a good night, okay? Yeah. So, like I said, there are still 18 hours left. Anyone is welcome to come and walk the track and find a cure for cancer. They'll be here until 4 o'clock tomorrow. Hey guys, well, we are definitely celebrating Lancaster tonight. The street behind me is packed. It's actually closed. There's a ton of food and live music going on, and we are here with the woman who's made it all possible. This is Jennifer Baker. So how does it feel that the day is finally here?
It's excellent.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. So, like you said, everyone is welcome here. We have 6 live performances tonight on the stage behind me over there. There's about a dozen countries represented, serving delicious Latin American cuisine. So, it's going on tonight until 11 o'clock, and then it starts again tomorrow for its last night. Reporting live in Lancaster, Erica Blatt, News 11. Human trafficking, by definition, is a form of modern-day slavery where people profit from the control and exploitation of others. And Pennsylvania's central location makes it more common than you think. There's a lot of interstate and highways that pass through Pennsylvania, and so it's a big hub along truck stops is where trafficking occurs, along these interstates, because the reality is these truck drivers unfortunately are purchasing girls for sex.
But trafficking happens everywhere. There's no question about that. It's pretty much an unrefuted issue, fact anymore. It is more common in larger urban areas. We are seeing it more in New York and Philadelphia, New Jersey.
It's estimated anywhere from 100,000 to 300,000 children under 18 are enslaved in sex trafficking each year in the United States. Most of the time, girls as young as 11 years old are the victims. These girls are lured away by pimps and traffickers, and they see their vulnerability and they start loving upon them and acting like they want to be their boyfriend and lifting them up, and these girls just receive this love that they think is so important, when in reality a few weeks later the guy says, hey sweetie, I don't have enough money, do you mind sleeping with my friend Johnny over here, we can't pay rent this month.
Life expectancy after a child gets into that lifestyle is typically 7 years.
Pennsylvania is one of the few states that still has an F grade from the Polaris Project in terms of legislation that's in place for trafficking. Several local anti-trafficking organizations are banding together this weekend in hopes of shedding light on the problem.
This is a huge issue. Yes, it is one that we need to pay attention to. It's not going to go away until we do something to reduce demand and give law enforcement the tools that they need and be able to prosecute traffickers.
In December, Senate Bill 75 unanimously passed the Senate and awaits approval from the House. This bill would assist in the protection, prosecution, and prevention of human traffickers and their victims. If you're interested in learning more about this modern-day slavery, there's a conference this Saturday at the Ware Center. Back to you.
They have $3.2 billion in cash flow alone.
Citizens were so fired up at the open house at Millersville University that they even staged a sit-in. Their concern: Williams Partners is proposing to build a 35-mile-long, 50-foot-wide pipeline under 7 townships in southern Lancaster County that would affect more than 350 landowners. Many of those landowners were concerned with the safety and environmental impact.
They admittedly say we have no record of any water contamination, but they only keep track and record water contamination that's in municipal water places. It's not well water. All of us have well water.
My biggest concerns are explosions. Williams Company has had 3 explosions since March 31st.
But Williams Partners spokesman Chris Stockton says the company has years of experience practicing safety.
We have a lot of safeguards that we put into place. We've been constructing pipelines across the country for a very long time. We operate 15,000 miles of pipe.
Another major concern is why put a new pipeline through Lancaster County? Williams already owns the Transco line that's responsible for shipping 10% of the nation's natural gas. Stockton says it's because the existing infrastructure is maxed out.
You need the infrastructure in place to connect those production areas with the market areas that consume that gas, and currently that infrastructure isn't fully capable of transporting that gas.
Residents are under the impression that existing pipelines must be used before building a new one. Jennifer Kerrigan of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission says that's not true.
It doesn't say they must. It says that they should try to use it, and there may be issues along the existing pipeline, like development.
Kerrigan says this is a pre-filing process for the pipeline. FERC will consider all feedback and make its final decision within the next several months. 3-year-old Aralise and 4-year-old John Ohorio were kidnapped at gunpoint last night around 7:30 from a home on Almanac Avenue in Lancaster City. State police found the children safe around 8 o'clock this morning in the Philadelphia area. They say that the Amber Alert played a major role in their recovery.
The information apparently was pretty good that maybe they were headed to Philadelphia, and at that point, that's when the trooper spotted them, probably not too long after that information was getting out there. So, you know, you'd probably have to ask the state police how many calls they actually got, but usually in an Amber Alert, they get a lot of information.
The alert was issued at 11:30 Thursday night after the children's father, 23-year-old Eddie Ohorio Martinez, and grandfather, 47-year-old Eddie Ohorio Saavedra, went to the residence, threatened and assaulted 3 people inside, then took off with the children in a black Nissan. The vehicle was pulled over in Montgomery County, where the children were found asleep in the back seat.
State police are extremely thorough, and they transport them to their barracks, and I'm sure they went through all the necessary steps to ensure that they were fine, and our detectives transported them back to Lancaster to reunite them with their mother.
The children and their mother recently moved out of a home they shared with her estranged husband in Columbia. She told police Ohorio Martinez made verbal threats to her last week.
We're not going to get into details on that. Apparently, whatever the victim felt, there obviously was a lot of validity to that for the fact that he and his father entered that residence and grabbed both of the children.
The 2 suspects are both in police custody. They face kidnapping, burglary, and assault, among other charges. They'll both be arraigned tonight at the Lancaster County Prison. Reporting in Lancaster for News 11, I'm Erica Blatt.